It's Tom Ulloyott here, who's the first team captain at Cuckney in the Notts Prem. I was on the Zoom call, I think last week, I think it was, when obviously the changes got put through or denied. And yeah, I'm with him. You know, at the end of the day, I think I'm pretty happy with him. The win-lose cricket is something that I think, you know, it's played internationally and across the world everywhere. So I like the idea of that, if you know what I mean. And obviously we had a bit of a taster for it last year, and I think it's got kind of whet everyone's appetite. So yeah, I'm all for it. No issues with that on that side. It's an interesting one. I mean, I think it's just a case of you kind of look for the start of the season really, and just the general, you know, that your first 3 or 4 games we've started badly in the last, I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. You know, we've kind of been playing catch up. Even when we won the league back in 2018, we were still playing catch up at the start. We haven't started very strongly. So just that, you know, who the first 3 games are up against really, and just making sure we kind of start strongly this year. No one in particular, you know, since Welbeck have obviously not been in the Prem for a while. That used to be a little derby that you always look forward to, but no one in particular now, if you know what I mean. That's a good question, I suppose. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, there's 1 or 2 weaknesses as well, but I think, you know, we've always been. I've never considered us necessarily like, you know, you put the names down on paper and we're outstandingly the best 11 or anything like that. So I probably just have to say, as a team, we're very good. You know, whenever we miss players, we kind of operate under the same guise. We perform pretty similarly. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't work very well for us, but most of the time, we stick together as a team. It's one of the things that kind of Alan Morris has instilled in us. You know what I mean? You've got what you've got as individuals. It's kind of how do you best put that all down and get it on paper as a side. And probably, I know, without being cliched, teamwork's, you know, it's very key to our success over the last 10 years, and something that maybe we were missing the last kind of year or so. So we'll try and, you know, get back to that as a strength. Anything else in particular? I mean, you know, there's lots of things. Different individuals have got good strengths with their batting, with their bowling, with the fielding, and all the rest of it. But, you know, as a core and as a team and as a club, it's just that kind of togetherness, I would say, and that teamwork and ethic. I imagine most people know it all, but we've got Paul van Meekeren as our pro, who's obviously played for the Netherlands in a World Cup. So he's got some international experience, which will be good. Supposed to have an overseas come in. Obviously, that's kind of pending whatever the rule restrictions are. But Cody Youssef, who's going to be a South African all-rounder. Apart from that, we're not a club who tends to sign loads of people. Everyone probably knows every team name on our team sheet, in the sense of it's always there or thereabouts in the first team and the second team across, you know, the last 5 or 10 years. We have got Archie Shannon back from Ullyott, which is always great because he's been around the club and his family around the club for a long time. So it's nice to get Arch back. I'm just trying to think. I don't want to leave anybody out, but no one, you know, no one's moved. I think apart from Archie internally, in terms of from the league, just a similar squad really. It's nice to have the second team in the league below us, if you know what I mean. So there's always, even if you get left out or whatever, it's still pretty competitive. You've got overseas and pros playing in the Bassett Hall as well. So yeah, nothing else. Which one? I mean, giving it away, wouldn't it? But you know, I hope they all surprise me. But I'm not sure really. You know, like I said, because it's a relatively similar team. You know, everyone kind of knows our 11, if you know what I mean, or knows the players have been around for a while, even if it's the younger lads like the 2 Keys brothers or whatever. It's I don't know. I'll put a bit of pressure on Nick Langford and say, you know, he's maybe not as got the runs he's wanted to the recent couple of years, but you know, I think that he might get back to his former glories this year and really push on. Apart from that, it would be hopefully Paul van Meekeren, I guess. Put a bit of pressure on the pro. You know, that's what he's there for. So yeah, hopefully Paul and Nick. I don't know. There's a variety. You know, I'd always want somebody who's willing to kind of muck in as a teammate, like I just mentioned on our kind of strengths. Crikey, I can't even think of anyone at the minute. I'll go for Sam Wood. I think the last 10 years we're always we start the season with an idea of being in a strong enough position to be challenging for for the title, ideally with 6-7 games to go. So a good finish, or where we want to be, is top four. No one wants to finish fourth. There's no Champions League spot or anything like that. So it's more of a case of just making sure that we perform on a level consistently. I think that's one of the things where I want to make sure we improve, and therefore we'll be allowed to, like I said earlier, the start of the season is key to us as well, in order to kind of not be playing catch up. But yeah, I think a good season would be top three, but no one wants to finish third or second, do they? So I'd like to say we want to be challenging for the league, as I imagine a lot of the sides will be wanting to do, new signings all over the place and whatever. So same with us. We've got our coach back who wasn't with us last year, so that'll be a big presence around the squad. So yeah, that's top of the league ideally, but we'll see what happens. You'd love to be overconfident and say yourselves, but it's just more of a case of I expect to see the same teams that usually fight it out: the Kimberleys, the Cavaliers, your Cuckneys, that kind of. I think they're the last three winners. I think, unless I've got that wrong, the last three winners. I expect those three teams to be strong. I've seen a few signings all over the place. It's always nice if it's pretty even, and I think in recent years no one's ever been a runaway leader, if you know what I mean. It's always been tight. Teams have lost games, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be very similar to the seasons gone by. I can't see it being any different in terms of the competitive nature. Obviously, the win or lose, you might get a few more big scores. You might get a few more bowled out for 80 odd trying to chase these big scores, but as the last 10 years, I'd say, I think it'll be pretty tight, and I wouldn't want to give you someone who I think will be there. I just imagine that top 3 or 4 will be fine out. Again, it'd be nice, it'd be nice if it's 5 or 6 of us and it would be open league. I've got no qualms with that at the end of the day, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.